Hey everyone, it's Carlos Villagomez. Welcome to the Hustle Behind Real Conversations. Today is episode 8, and we're continuing our series of couples doing business together. We're super happy to have Anthony and Bri Elizondo, founders and owners of Top Notch Real Estate. Hey guys, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us. We're excited. It's a cool setup you guys got here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're excited to have you guys here. We're trying to get you guys here for a little bit.
I know.
He told me about this yesterday.
Yeah. I knew if I did it too far in advance, it was going to be hard. No, yeah.
stressed.
Yeah, I should think about it too much. And I was
Yep.
like, just right before, I was like, hey, could you make sure the nanny's here at like 9 so you can be ready at 10 for a podcast?
And she was like, what?
She's like, yeah. I thought for sure she was going to shut it down, but she said, yeah. It's like, all right.
Well, awesome.
Well,
I'm
we're
glad.
glad you're here.
Yes.
Well, sweet. Thanks for being here. We always like to start with just kind of sharing your story. I
Okay.
mean, you guys are a couple. How you met? Let's start with that. Like, take us back.
Man, a couple of how we met and stuff. That gets,
Oh, we don't need to go into the juicy.
yeah, that's
details.
good. Yeah, we can start there.
That's a long time ago.
So it's actually, people think we're crazy when you kind of hear the story, but so we met at the tail end of high school. I went to Idaho Falls High School here. She went to Bonneville High School, and we actually both were in long-term relationships. I think in my yearbook, it was like, I was, couples most likely to like stay together was my, previous girlfriend in high school. And then I had been dating her for 2 years. She had been with her boyfriend in high school for four years. And we met like 2 weeks before graduation.
Just through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
I had a really good friend that was great friends with his family, and she was like, "Bri, come over, hang out. Like I don't even remember what we were doing, but we ended up at your family's house.
Yeah.
I think that's how we first met.
So that's how we first met. And then I had a buddy, it sounds so, yeah. I had a buddy that had her on like Snapchat, and I'd like send out a Snapchat and she replied. And anyway, so then we started talking, and we started talking. I was like, I think I really like her. And I was like, I think I talked to her for a little bit, and I was like, I think I'm going to break up with my girlfriend. And she's like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? And so I did it. And then she broke up with her boyfriend. It all went fairly quickly. And then we hung out for that 2 weeks a ton. Like school was about to get out. I was going to leave to go play soccer in Arizona. She was actually going to leave. She was going to do a senior trip in Europe for 30 days. And then she was going to go play soccer in Washington. So she had a scholarship for a JUCO there. And we hung out a ton those last 2 weeks. And I was like, hey, you should come to Arizona with me. And just kind of shot the idea out there. And thinking, I'm like, there's no way she's going to actually want to come. And she's like, she put some thought into it. She typed up a text message to her coach to say like, hey, I think I'm going to like turn down my scholarship and not come to play here. And she like gave me the phone to review the text message, and I just pressed send. And yeah, so she tells everybody that I did it, and then she went, then we didn't see each other for 30 days. I went to Arizona. She went on her senior trip, and then she got back. She's like, so are we really going to do this? You want me to come to Arizona? I was like, yeah. So she came to Arizona. We went to school there for 4 years, and she was actually the hustler while I was playing soccer. I wasn't working or anything. And her family was not thrilled that she gave up her scholarship and followed this random guy to Arizona. So they're like, hey, you're on your own. And so she worked like two to three jobs sometimes to pay for rent and do everything she could do. And yeah, I was like, she was hustling, and I was just kind of being a bum in college, played soccer. But from there, like, it all worked out. Like, obviously we're married. We have 3 kids now, and her parents love me now. So it took a little bit of time, but, and then in Arizona, like, I went to school. I played soccer for 2 years, technically 3 years, because I got injured the first year, tore my ACL. So we were there for 3 years. After, when I was going to school, like, I'd kind of just looked at, ultimately, like, I wanted to play professional soccer. That was my goal. I was like, man, I want to, I want to go to the next level on this. When I was playing soccer there, I started going to some like professional camps, some PDL camps, USL camps, like for Sacramento. And when I'd go to, like, I'd play with these kids that were in D1 schools, and, they had played 4 years at a D1 school. Now they're at these camps. And I just looked at like the path to actually make this possible. I was like, I'm going to have to probably dedicate another 5 to 6 years and not make any money. I had a coach in college that was playing in the USL, which is the league right under the MLS, and he didn't have any money. Like, he had to work another job, but then go play professional soccer. And I was like, this isn't really like, I have a choice. If I really am passionate about this and this is what I want to do, great. But if I, deep down inside, like, I wanted to go make money, like, and have some freedom and flexibility in my life. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm that dedicated to play soccer. I kind of want to just go and start working. And so I got my associate's degree, and then I decided, like, hey, I'm just going to start working. So I got a job at the bank. She basically finished her marketing degree at ASU, and then she was working as a nanny in Arizona. And we hadn't been home for like 4 years. We left that first year, and because of soccer and stuff, like, I had summer camps and all that, so we never went home during the summers. And her best friend was getting married, and we're like, hey, let's just go home for the summer. Was our original plan, because we never planned to move back to Idaho. We're like, we're in the warm weather, we're not going to move back.
Right.
And so we put stuff in storage and made the journey back. And being the like person that she is, we're here for, planning to just be here for the summer. I transferred with Wells Fargo. I was working at the bank at Wells Fargo. They had a part-time teller job open here. So I'm like, I'm just going to transfer so I can still make some money while we're there in the summer. And she wasn't really going to work. But when we got here, she was applying for jobs and got an internship at,
That's what I do. I did in my spare time for fun.
yeah, she just loved to work. And so she's like, hey, I got accepted to a job, an internship at the INL. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, it's just a 6-month internship. So we'll just be here for the summer, and then we'll stay for like an extra 3 months, and then we'll go back. Anyway, she did that. Then they offered her a full-time job. And so as a executive assistant for the head guys at the INL. And she's like, yeah, I think like this will be really good for my resume. So I'm like, all right. So we're like, well, let's go get our stuff from storage. We'll move back to Idaho, and this isn't long term. We'll just be here for a little bit. And just
Here we are.
8 years later, here we are. So never made it back. But when she took that job at the INL, you're probably making like $20 an hour or something like that. I was still just being a part-time teller at Wells Fargo, making like $13 an hour. And I'm like, I feel like a bum here. I need to go do something more with my life than just be a teller at the bank. And so that's what kind of sparked my interest in real estate originally. There's two kind of things. So being a teller, it's mostly in Arizona when I was a teller. I had real estate agents that would come in and they deposit their checks. I'm like, oh, this is
Spark the curiosity.
Yeah.
Minutes.
Wait a second. Those are pretty nice checks. How long did you work for this? And then my parents had done a ton of investing in Arizona during the crash. So like in 2011, 2012, they leveraged as much as they could, and they bought a bunch of houses in Arizona. And I saw over the course of that, 5-7 year period, what that had done to their net worth. Like they had both worked at the INL, making okay money, probably $100,000 a year. But the reason they were in the financial position they were was because of what they did with investing in real estate. And my dad had invested in high school, he'd bought some duplexes here over kind of like on Lava and those kind of streets. Yeah. And I remember going as a kid, I would remodel these duplexes when they'd turn. And he owned like a 5-plex in Arco, which was a terrible investment, but I'd have to go like do lawn maintenance there. So I'd kind of witnessed as a kid, like him investing in real estate. And I'm like, I want to know this industry. So I'm like, let me get my license. I don't know if it's like actually what I want to do. I'd still had the plan of, I wanted to be a financial advisor. Her dad was a financial advisor, did very, very well. And so I'm like, that was my plan. That's why I was working at the bank. I was going to work my way up to being an FA, financial advisor with Wells Fargo, or take my Series 7 and I could go, he works for Edward Jones, so maybe go work with him. That was my plan. But I was like, let me get my real estate license right now and just kind of learn that side of the industry. And I decided once I got my license, I was like, I'm just going to jump full in and just see if I can make some money doing this. And so we were living in an apartment on First Street. Those brand new apartment. They were brand new at the time. We were like one of the first people to live in the units, the Karchner ones. And so we were living there, and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to jump in full time. And she had a steady job. So I'm like, we'll be okay. I took out a credit card with a $3,500 limit because that's what I needed to pay for like expenses. And it had a 15-month no interest. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to max this out. I'll have 15 months to pay it off and not pay interest. So I got a year and some change, and I'll figure it out. And right when I tell her that, she's like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, you know what? I hate my job at the INL. My phone's dead at 10 a.m. Like, I just feel like I'm wasting my life. I also want to quit my job. I'm like, okay, awesome. Let's do this at the same time. And so we ended up.
That's not true. There was one I was starting a marketing company. Basically, that was kind of where I wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
And there was a position that a client that I had interviewed with, and I was like, in Dubai, I'm like, if I land this, I will quit. And they had told me they'll get back to me like in a week or so. So I was like, okay, I'll know in a week. If I get this, then I can leave. And they messaged me like a few hours later, and they're like, okay, we want you. And I'm like, okay, it's done. So I did have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wasn't as crazy. Yeah, she was. I didn't have a backup plan. I just freaking full send into real estate. And there's no guarantee of income. But yeah, she did. I forgot you did land that client, and it was kind of a crazy client. She did a bunch of marketing for banks and stuff in Dubai.
I did some Lamborghini. I talked to the family of the Lamborghini family.
Wow.
They flew me all over
cool.
Australia, Chile. It was great. It was
That sounds like
Yeah, flew her all over. I stayed home being a bum, trying to make money as a real estate agent. She's over here flying. She's like, she's in Chile, she's in Australia, and I'm like, cool.
awesome.
It was cool.
Cool for her.
Cool for her.
I did give him the option to join me, but
There was one. I honestly,
flights
the-
to Australia are
Showings on
ridiculous.
Saturday.
Yes, true.
she's like, do you want to come? And I'm like, we can't afford. Honestly, we just couldn't afford it. I'm like, I have a $3,500 credit card I still need to pay off. Like, can't buy a ticket to go. So, but yeah, she crushed it. She took her marketing agency, landed that first client, then got a few other clients. And you were pulling in probably $5,000 to $6,000 a month, fairly quickly with the marketing agency. And then that's when I started in, real estate. I joined KW right when I started, because that's where everybody that was a top producer was. So I was like, well, if I want to be a top producer, I'm going to go to KW.
What year was this? Sorry.
So it was
Just
2018.
2018. Okay.
Yep. So 2018, I think at the time, Keller Williams had 60% market share. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go learn from those guys. I joined, I did the KW coaching. They take an extra 10% and you go down and they teach you how to start your business. Basically, all they told you to do was, we'll call everybody in your contacts and tell them you're in real estate.
A lot of cold calling.
I'm like, okay. So I'm over here calling oh my God. And I was 22 at the time. So I'm like, I can call everybody in my contacts. Nobody's buying a home. So I was calling my dad's friends. Hey, how are you? This is Anthony. Hey, I'm in real estate if you ever need anything. I didn't do anything for the first 3 months. And it was pretty
Production wise.
yeah, it was pretty demoralizing.
You were doing a lot of work, just not a lot of production.
Yeah, there's just nothing to show for it.
Which, wouldn't you say that? I mean, that's
happened to
normally
me.
to most people in real estate, you have to put a lot of work in before. A lot of people think, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to get into real estate. I'm going to make a ton of money. And then
Yeah.
you go in and you're like,
Wait.
6
Okay.
months later, you're like, I still
what the
haven't
heck
done
is happening here?
Yes.
I'm not making any money.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you think you're going to make a few calls and you're going to post on Facebook. And as soon as I post on Facebook and tell everybody I'm an agent, they're going to call me and want me to list their house and stuff. It doesn't work that way.
I'm going to work with this guy that's never done
Yeah.
any
Anything.
real estate.
Yeah. And being young, kind of I had never owned a home. I was 22. I'm like, why are people going to trust me to help them buy or sell? And so after that, I decided hey, I'm just going to, I need to feel like I'm doing something. I'm making these calls. I don't feel like there's any forward progress. So I designed some flyers, the free CMA flyers, and I'd go just door knock or their door hangers. So if nobody's home, I just put them on the door. And I would do that I did that for a few months. And I would kind of mix it. I would go do a higher end neighborhood, like Sunterra, South Point.
Okay.
And then I would go do the numbered streets. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to just A/B test this. If I get one of these calls, it's probably unlikely, but if I can get a higher end call, awesome. But I can do a lot more houses on the numbered streets because they're closer together. And so just a lot quicker to hang them out. South Point's you're walking all the way up the driveway and then you got to walk all the way around. But after it was probably 2 months of doing that, I finally got my first call on a listing and it was in Sunterra. And so, yeah, at the time it was, it was a 300.
350?
Yeah, 300. And I think I sold that one for 375. So 375.
Let's get a home in Sunterra for
Oh,
$350.
I would have bought them
And I
all.
remember we saw that commission. We're like, oh, this is so great. And he's like, I won't see this again probably for a while. We're going to stick with the numbered streets. 150, 175.
Yeah, I was like, at the time, like that house now is like a $650,000 house. But at the time, 375, the only transaction I had done before that was a $130,000 home in Blackfoot. And so that was like what I was used to. So having a $375,000 listing, I'm like, man, this is like 3 times that. Like, this is crazy. Anyway, when I got that, it was an older couple that they're like, hey, you put this door hanger on our house like 4 weeks ago. And we just saved it in our drawer because we knew we wanted to sell soon and we wanted to meet with you. And I met with them. And my pitch at that time was like, hey, I'm young. I'm new to this. You are going to be my only, I mean, I don't have any other business. So like,
My priority.
you're my priority. I'm going to be on it. Yeah. I'm going to dedicate all my time to this listing because that's my only listing I have. And so they're like, cool. They wanted to give me a shot. It was probably just the old people in them that wanted to give a young kid a shot.
This guy, we got to help him.
Yeah. Like, oh, he's new. Like, let's kick him a bone. And sometimes like you just need that one person that's willing to give you a shot. Totally. And so I took on that listing. I flyered the neighborhood. So as soon as, new listing, I did all new listing flyers to Sunterra. And then when it went pending, I did all, just pending flyers. And then when it sold, I did just sold flyers. And I had a good family friend that lived across the street, and they saw that I had put this under contract in like 2 weeks. And they're like, hey, we're getting relocated to Maryland for a job. We're not just, we're going to interview you, but we're going to interview some other agents. But we saw what you did with that house. And so I went and met with them. They were interviewing some like assist to sell agents as well. And they gave me the shot. After seeing that I'd put that one under contract, they're like, okay, he might know what he's doing here. And so same thing with that one. I flyered the neighborhood for when it got listed, when it went pending, and when it went sold. And there was a house that was listed on the corner that had been on the market for like 60 days. And they saw both of these listings go active and go pending. And they were in the same price range. And they're like, they called me after that, after I got this one under contract. They're like, hey, we just fired our agent. We want to meet with you. You've seen that you've sold both these in the neighborhood. I'm like, awesome. Met with them. They were an Indian family, and the house hadn't sold because they wanted to stay there during showings. Okay. The house had a pretty strong smell, like, the spices and all that. Mm-hmm. But it was good timing because for me, it had been listed with 60 days with another agent. But when I came in, they're like, well, we're going to be relocated in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, wow. So they're like, we have to move, but we need to get this sold. And so I'm like, awesome. I knew I wasn't going to probably sell it while they were there, but I'm like, I only need to hold it for 2 weeks. As soon as they're gone, I'll freshen it all up. It'll be a lot easier to show. It'll be vacant. And so that's what we did.
We washed the walls.
Yeah, we
got like Swiffer mops and we were washing.
I got the walls. Stuff you put in the carpet, the
powder.
Powder, vacuumed it up. And it was 3,500 square feet, put it all over the house, upstairs, downstairs, vacuumed it all up. And then we're like, it still kind of smells. So we got these like Swiffer mops and we put some spray thing on it. And we literally like just Swiffered all the walls, trying to get the smell out. And it worked. After that, it went under contract in like 2 to 3 weeks. For more than they had previously listed it at with the other agent, because they were previously listed with assist to sell, and I wasn't going to discount my commission. So I just said, hey, I'll sell it we'll just increase the price to kind of account for that. Yeah. And we ended up getting it sold. And so that was kind of the kickstart. I got those 3 listings. And then I was able to I met a guy at a gym. I got another listing that was in Shelley. And then I just that's really what got me going, was that one flyer. And then really just making sure to capitalize as much as I could on that one opportunity that led to the more opportunities. And that's when like all those 3 kind of sold within like, I don't know, 30 to 45 days of me taking those on. And so then I had 3 closings that were all in like that 375-ish price point. And I'm like, dude, this is good money. Yeah. This is like, 30 grand worth of commissions that I'm going to make in a month. And I remember at that time, like, talking to my friends, I'm like, dude, real estate's legit. Like, this is easy. Like, I'm going to make some good money doing this. And obviously it's not all sunshine and rainbows with real estate. But that kind of kicked it off. And from there, like I started that year, I think my first full year, I got licensed in June of 2018, didn't really do stuff a ton the first 3 months. Then towards the end of the year, I kind of had those transactions. That next full year in real estate, I did 27 deals, which was like, okay at the time. And then that next year was where like, I was on pace to do probably 40 or so. And Bri was like, I remember the conversation. She was doing her marketing agency and we were working from home. We had like, it was like right during COVID.
We were in a Rockwell home,
So
in
I've
the
been-
smallest bedroom in a Rockwell, and he had a desk in the room, and I had a desk right next to it. So we were like
Right there.
co-working, but like two completely different businesses.
Yeah. So she would hear like my conversations with clients and stuff calling, and we'd like make our coffee in the morning, go sit in the office and start working. And she listened. I took a call and there was a client that was like, so where are we signing tomorrow? Okay. And what do I need to bring? And she looks at me, she's like, why do they not know? I mean, you're closing that tomorrow. Why do they not know? I'm like, I'm just so busy. Like, I don't know. I'm not a systems and processes kind of guy. I'm just
You're
like,
tackling it as it goes along.
100%. Yeah. I'm focused on the relationships, just going out and getting business and getting the business to the finish line. And I had been telling her, like, I wanted her to come help me in real estate. And she'd kind of put it off for a long time because her biggest fear was like, I don't want both of our incomes dependent on the real estate market. Like, it's boom or bust, right?
We can relate to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Scary.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
it is.
100%.
Especially because we just bought our house. I mean, we didn't have kids, thankfully, but I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, we have to be able to pay the mortgage. I mean, we just got married. We have a home. So
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, having her stability, like her marketing agency was like guaranteed income. Like she was on like salaries with these companies and contracts that were going to pay for so many months. And so, but after that call, like she realized, okay, you could use some help. And I was tracking to make some pretty good income that year. And so she's like, all right, I'll go get my license so I can kind of help you. So she got her license in 2020, right in, the crazy season. And like COVID had just hit. And so the like testing centers were, months out and all that stuff. And anyway, she got her license that year. I mean, I think that year together we did like 60 something deals in 2020. And then 2021 is where it just went nuts. Like the market was insane.
It just took off.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was wild.
and that's where like you look at people's stories, and I think you don't want to say that there's always timing and luck in a lot of these things, and I don't think it's totally luck. I think you have to be ready for that opportunity. Like we had positioned ourselves. Like if I hadn't gotten licensed in 2018 and had the experience that I had, and she hadn't been doing what she was doing with the marketing agency, we probably wouldn't have been able to fully take advantage of the opportunity that came in 2021. But we had kind of prepared ourselves and done things in a way that allowed us to really capitalize on that opportunity. So like in 2021, we started that's kind of when we started the team, was in 2020. Devin, our director of sales now, he actually took classes with Bri. And when he was looking for a brokerage afterwards, he was like, she said like, oh, hey, my husband owns a brokerage, because I was part owner of HomeSmart at the time.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, you and Elias had
So
that.
we had founded that. I kind of skipped over that side of it, but we did that together. I left Keller Williams in like 2019. So after, being licensed for like 7-8 months, went and franchised that with Elias, and we had kind of grown that over the year. So she's like, hey, my husband owns a brokerage if you want to come hang your license there. And he's like, awesome. So I met with him, and it was actually right at me and Elias were kind of splitting ways at that time.
Mhm.
So it was in 2020. We were just kind of had different thoughts and directions of where we wanted to take the company. And so I was actually planning to leave, and I met with Devin, and I was like, hey, you can join HomeSmart, just so you know, like I'm no longer going to be an owner. I'm kind of stepping away from that. And he's like, well, where are you guys going to go? And I'm like, I don't know yet. And he's like, well, can I just work with you guys? And we're like, I mean, it's really just us working together right now, but yeah, maybe we could take on an agent. So that's kind of how the team started. We never really had this idea of starting a team and doing what we're
So
doing.
it was more organic.
Yeah,
Just
it was
kinda-
Devin just asking
and we
yeah.
can relate to that. It kind of
That's kinda
happened.
how this happened.
How it
too.
happened to us. It wasn't like I'm gonna put a team together. It
Yeah.
just kind of came in place. Yeah, and it had something to do with COVID too. But keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's
we'll
good.
get to that.
And so anyway, 2021 was a wild year. We ended up selling 92 homes, just us. Devin did a handful of homes. So I think as a team, we did 130 or something that year,
That's really good. Wow,
which was
that's
awesome.
impressive.
Yeah.
And personal production wise, like that, having that year, it just sets everything else up. The income that we were able to make that year, and then being smart with it. We still just lived in our Rockwell. I was leasing a Toyota Tacoma for $240 a month, zero interest, or it was a lease. So, and you still had your old car at that time, like a paid off Chevy Cruze. And so, and we kind of just started stashing away that money, because we knew long term, I want to start investing and doing stuff. And in 2021, 2021, 2022. It was towards the end of 2021. We had that really good year. We had an opportunity from a seller that called, and she wanted to sell her house, but when Bri took the call, and she was like, yeah, when can we schedule time to come look at the property? And she's like, oh, you can't come see it. We're like, well, we kind of have to be able to see it to
Wait a
see.
minute.
How do I sell a home that nobody can see?
Yeah.
And she's like, nobody can come look at the house. We're like, well, this is gonna be really hard to sell it. Like, come to find out after more conversations with her, like she was a hoarder, and she was really embarrassed of the condition of the home.
She let us come see it, but I remember she was like, text me when you're here. I'll go wait in the backyard.
Aw.
And then text me when you're gone and I'll come back in the home. So I've never met her. You had never met her.
Wow, that's really difficult.
Yeah.
Really sad.
And it was in really bad condition, and just a little pathway that you could kind of walk through. And so we got done with that appointment. We're like, what do we do? And I told Bri, I was like, this might be a good opportunity. Maybe let's make her a cash offer and we can flip it. And I remember Bri's like, I mean, we've never flipped a house. Like, are you sure? Like, it's a lot of money to spend on a house. Like, and I was like, we've kind of been waiting for an opportunity like this. Like, I think we can get a good price on it. So that was our first property. We ended up buying it cash. And when we do this, like, people kind of have a bad, image of people that do like cash offers. 'Cause a lot of them are like wholesalers, and, and it's one thing I think me and you can just talk
we'll
about how we don't like those sellers, but we always make sure we really take care of the sellers on this. So she wanted to move out of state to like Montana.
Her utilities were getting shut off.
Her phone got shut off. Her utilities got shut off. So we got everything even before we closed. We got her phone back on. We got utilities back on. We gave her money, set up a moving trailer for her to where she wanted to go, and just say like, you can put whatever you want in it, and then leave the rest, and we'll handle it all. And so she was super grateful with how it all handled. And again, we've still never met her, but she was really enjoyed working with us on that deal. And that was our first kind of investment. We ended up flipping it in like 75 days. It didn't need a ton of renovations. It
had been remodeled like 2 years prior. She only lived there for 2 years. So it was honestly
Clearing it out.
updated. It just needed cleaned and then
clearing it out. We had
So it was a more
primer.
cosmetic one, which those are the best,
Oh, yeah.
right?
For
You
sure.
clean it up, you paint it, you do floor. It's
Yes.
the easy stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we didn't need it. We weren't putting down walls, redoing plumbing, electrical, all that. So we did need it. The roof was the worst roof I've ever seen. Like, it was terrible. So we did have to replace the roof, painted the whole exterior, did all that. But we managed that basically by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, Bri's kind of, I don't want to say she's a workaholic, but she enjoys working. Like, she doesn't like to sit on her hands and not do something. And so I remember it was like 9:00 at night. We had just closed on it like the day before, and we had just got done with some showings and stuff, and we're going to head home. She's like, well, let's go to the flip. I'm like, it's 9:00. We're not going to the flip. And she's like, come on, let's just clean out the living room. And so I was like, we're going to pay somebody to clean this out. Anyway, she talked me into it. We went trash bags. We're cleaning out the freaking living room at 10:00 at night. And I'm like, dude, I just want to be home sleeping. But she loves, if there's stuff to be done, she loves to just go do it. And I think that's really what's a huge driver of our success and her success, is like having that. She doesn't like to procrastinate. She if something needs to go, if there's something to be done, or she doesn't watch Netflix or movies, or like if I'm like, hey, let's watch a movie, she's like, yeah, and she'll watch it for like 5 minutes and then have her laptop up working on something. And so, which I'm like, some people, I don't care. I think it's awesome. And so
It's just how she operates.
Yes, it's how she operates. And
She motivates you and keeps you on task.
100%. I'm like I have all these ideas. It's
He's
funny.
a visionary for sure.
We like have a really good trade-off where I'll be like, hey, I think we can do this with the team, or income. I think we should shoot for this kind of income, or this kind of, how many real estate properties we want to own. And she's like, how? She's a very like, how are we going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't really know how yet, but like, I think we can do it. And I'll have like a generic idea, but she's kind of the one that's like actually going to put things into place and make sure that we do them. There's that book called like Rocket Fuel. I don't know if you've read it, but it talks about like the vision.
I have not, but I've heard
It's a
about
good
it.
one. Yeah. It talks about like the relationship between like a visionary and an integrator. And for any like really successful companies, you need a visionary that's going to push the limits of what's possible and create that initial vision. But then you need an integrator with that visionary that's actually going to put things into place. Because I can start a lot of things. I don't finish a lot of things.
You need to follow through, and
Correct.
Yeah. And that's when she comes in and
100%.
make sure the systems are in place. And
Yes.
okay,
I can go out and sell the services and do all this stuff, and then she's like, "Hey, we got to like fulfill all those things too." So like, hey, let's put a system and a process into place and make sure that we can actually execute on these things. And so that's where our kind of yin and yang have come through with all of the businesses that we've really started. Like I'll start them and create a plan and a vision for it, and then she'll really kind of, hey, we need a system and a process to make sure that this flows really well. And so that's kind of taken us to where like our team now, we've got like, I don't even know, we just onboarded 2 more agents, so we're probably like 17, 18 licensed agents. And I'll be fully transparent. We can talk, about anything that we do. Running a real estate team is not cool as people think it is. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people look at team leaders as like, oh, dude, you guys doing this much in production, you're doing this much in GCI. The margins of running a real estate team are very slim. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you guys can attest to that. But we love doing it. Like the reason that we continue to do it is like, we love the culture that we have. We love the agents that we have. I want to provide opportunities for the agents that we have. I kind of, something that I really am passionate about is like teaching agents how to become financially independent. And so I look at a lot of agents not even just agents, but like if you look at the US population, I think it's 7 out of 10 people live paycheck to paycheck, which is crazy.
That is
and so it's like, and for real estate agents, like we have such a good opportunity to make a good income. There's agents that make $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 a year and don't have anything. They don't own any assets. They don't have anything to show for it. And so my whole vision with the team is like, I want to build a team that creates opportunities for agents to make good income, but then ultimately showing these agents, hey, now that you're making this good income, let's put things into place to make sure that you keep.
Let's put it to work.
Let's put it to work. Let's show you how. I don't want you to have to sell 30, 40 homes a year, every year. I think you need to go out and you need to have those big years. You need to have 1 or 2 of those big years. But if you can do it right, you only need to go sell 40, 50 homes 1 or 2 years in a row. And you should have the income to start investing that is going to allow you to step back on production and sell 15 to 20 homes. If you want to keep doing high production, awesome. But like, you won't have to do that. And I think we look at like what we were able to do in a few year, pretty short time frame. It's like, if you can be responsible and smart with your money, now we've been able to buy back a lot of our time where we don't have to go out and sell 70, 80 homes a year like we were selling. We can do all these other things that generate income. And so I want to show other agents, like that's what we're really passionate about, is like showing other agents and trying to help them become financially, I don't want to say financially independent, but even just like financially stable
and responsible, and be able to manage that money, right? Like you said, because you looked at, I don't know, in the time that you've been in real estate, a lot of agents that have been in the industry for a long time, and they're a lot older and they don't have a retirement plan or they haven't prepared for it. So they're still like in their 60s.
Blows my mind.
And then they're just still hustling out there and just doing the same thing, right? And I mean, some of them probably just love their job and they're doing it, but I'm sure that a lot of them, they just have to.
100%.
Right? And so I think it makes a lot of a difference. I think it's great what you're doing with them, and it makes a lot of a difference to be able to teach them how to manage those funds and take advantage that you're making such a good income, but put it to work for you rather than always chasing the income.
100%. I look at a lot of teams, like their goal as a team, it's like you want your agents to come in and produce at a high level. And some teams look at it as like, I hope they go out and buy a new car and do these things because then they have to continue to produce. You know what I mean? Versus like our model is, hey, no, we're going to create opportunities. We want you to produce at a high level, but I want you to do that for like 2 to 3 years. And then hopefully we can help you with the systems and processes that we've implemented into our business where you're staying top of mind with your past clients. You're getting a lot of repeat and referral business. Mm-hmm. We look at our agents, almost all of them, Jace, Devin, anybody that's been with us for like 3 years, it's like that 3-year mark is right where they start to have a ton of repeat and referral business because of everything that we've implemented with them for the previous 3 years. And then they can step back from a lot of like answering Zillow calls and doing all that stuff. And so our path is like, come on, give us 3 years, work hard, And I think we can set you up where you're going to have a pretty repeatable business, get some more time back, and not have to work the leads or do the things that you don't necessarily want to be doing in real estate. You've got to do it for some period of time. I don't want everybody to think like you can just go off and start there. But if you do it right, I look at agents that have been in the business for 10, 15 years, and I'm like, why do you not have more repeat and referral clients?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not managing the relationships in the business that you've already done. And that's the easiest, that's the best ROI. Like,
These are people that already know you. You need to nurture them and you need to spend time with them and make sure that you stay in touch. I mean,
100%.
you already had a good record with them, right? A good report. So
You've already paid whatever acquisition costs you had to pay to get that client originally. Because I even look at like our sphere of influence, but some of my top like repeat and referral clients were people that came in on Zillow 3-4 years ago.
we were just talking about that yesterday with somebody. You know,
They become
They become friends, friends, family. Like we've had some of our Zillow leads have become licensed and joined our team. That we originally sold them a house like 2-3 years ago.
We gotta join you.
100%.
actually, that was Isai was that way. He was
Really?
Yeah.
See, and so I'm like, agents. It's so funny because our industry likes to hate on paid leads, and I think it's so funny because I'm like, yes, you should always want to work your SOI. That is important.
100%.
But why not add to your SOI? Why not make your SOI bigger? So it's like if you can go on a team and you can close, let's say 20 Zillow leads that come in that year. If you can do that for 3 years, that's 60 more past clients that you have that are now in your sphere of influence. That if you nurture them correctly, you should be doing like 20 deals a year without having to take on new business.
Right.
And so it's like,
Just don't rely on it, right? You don't look at it as your only source of business. Use it to build your business and to build that sphere along with your sphere.
correct.
But
Yeah.
and I'm there with you. I've had so many conversations. Well, but it's Zillow, it's the devil, and I'm like, listen. First of all, it's like you're trying to compete with Google.
Yeah,
like you don't
you're not.
stand a chance, man.
Might
Let's
as well
just be
join
real.
it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Exactly.
might as well join and make
Exactly.
some money with them and find some good people, meet some good clients, make some friends, and help people along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to cost you some money. Well, they're in business too. They're there to make money just like you are, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it could be mutually beneficial and
Yeah.
Work both
if you
ways.
look at, they've earned their market share that they have. Like
100%.
they've done everything in a way that like when people want to search for homes, they're going to go to
through Zillow.
they're going to go through Zillow. Like you're never going to compete with a home search site. The other thing that, we're seeing even more too is like, even the people that you have a good relationship with, they're still sometimes going to Zillow first.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
They'll call you, be like, hey, I want to put an offer on this home. It's like, okay, when do you want to see it? Oh, we already saw it. I'm like, you saw it with who? Oh, we just, press contact an agent on Zillow. And I'm like, okay, what did you sign? Like,
Yeah, you
go
start
through that.
digging. Yeah.
But it's like, if I have a good relationship with these people and they do want to use me, but they're uneducated on the process. They're still going to Zillow. It's like, no matter how much you're nurturing, like Zillow is going to take a chunk of that business.
Yeah.
And they're even taking more of a chunk of people's SOI. And so I'm like, it's better to partner with a company that's coming in like that than to try to fight it. You look at all the companies that fought Amazon. It's like where you could have just, if you would have partnered and just got on board and started selling products there, you'd probably still be in business. But don't fight it. I mean, you can partner with, and obviously where Zillow is going over the next 30 days, like I think it's going to be a massive opportunity for those that have partnered with them over the last few years. And so I'm excited about it. I think running a real estate team has kind of opened our eyes to, it's taught us a lot of business lessons that we've kind of carried over into every other business, because I think running a real estate team is kind of one of the hardest businesses to start, because you don't have like you don't really have employees. They're all commission based,
Yeah.
1099 individuals. So it's a really gray line of what you can and can't force them to do.
Yet you still have to hold them accountable and hold their hand. And whenever they need something, they come to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you kind of have to give them that space to kind of build their own brand and find their own ways of doing things within your culture, making sure that they're following the things that you want your brand to reflect, right?
100%.
And then
It's a
your
really
team.
weird balance.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then it's an industry too where like you see a lot of turnover, and that was kind of our biggest thing when we started a team, was like, we don't want to be a revolving door. we don't want to just have new agents every year. And then, as soon as we teach an agent how to do production, they just leave, because like that model that's a really hard model to make profitable.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exhausting too. Like over the last few years, I don't know how many times Bri's told me like, "Are you sure you want to still run a team? Like, this is not fun." And it's
Can't say we had that conversation.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
emotionally draining too.
Yes.
Yes.
Like you invest in these people and then you love them and then they leave you.
Yep.
It's like a breakup almost.
Yeah,
But at the same
exactly.
time,
Percent.
it's the reality that you have to live with, right? Because Amber just left her team,
Yeah.
and we've always had this conversation. She's like, "I'm never leaving." I'm like,
One day
"There'll
you
come a
will.
day where you're gonna leave,
Yeah.
because you're gonna feel like you're in a place where it's part of your growth.
yeah,
If I don't allow you to do that, it's like I am not, letting you grow." And so I was like, it's like my kid's leaving to college now.
yeah, no, 100%. I remember,
But it's hard.
It is
Somebody
so
told
hard.
us to look at
Yeah.
it as a graduation
Yeah.
rather than a breakup. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
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 That is.
And I think if you have the mentality of, we've had agents that have left our team, and it's like, as long as I always just want to feel like I've left them better than I found them, that they're better off now because they were in our world or a part of our company. And I feel I can take pride in knowing that, like, hey, we helped them get to that next level and
Nice.
find peace in that. And I think if you can always leave that relationship on a good note, you never know what's going to happen. And so, like, we never try to burn a bridge. If somebody wants to leave, like, we're supportive of it. We, help them with whatever they need. Our offboarding process is like, we are maybe almost too generous. We like we give them any Zillies that they want to take, and we'll
I
just
had
sign a
an old
referral agreement
agent
with them.
that left the team like 9 months ago messaged me yesterday and asked to get something from his email.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
well, yeah.
totally. Like, I'll get
Yeah.
it. He was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." And I'm like, I'm not here to, like you said, burn bridges. I don't want anyone
No.
to feel any animosity or anything.
No, we're not. If you want to take the Zillies that you're working on and you want to sign a referral agreement and take them, awesome. And they give us a list of everybody that's in their SOI, and we give that list to them, and then we delete everybody out of our CRM. So we're not a team that's like, we're not going to nurture your SOI deals. Like, that's not who we are. Past clients that are like Zillow leads, yeah, they're going to stay in our drip campaigns and stuff like that. But yeah, we want to make sure that we have a good reputation.
That's important.
It is so important. This town is too small to not have a great
Exactly.
reputation.
Yep, you get blown up all over social media if you
Right.
slip up at all. So
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Good news spreads fast, but bad news spreads way, way faster. And
Oh, yeah.
people can, especially in this day and age where everybody has access to a keyboard or a microphone or a megaphone, and they'll just, blow it out. So you can make one little mistake and it turns into something so big. People
Yeah.
can turn it into something really big.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think if like our motto has always been like, keep real estate human. Like I think a lot of teams get so transactional. Agents get very transactional, and forget that like every person that you're contacting in real estate, like it's a human. It's a human on the other side, and they're reaching out because they have a need, or they need a desire to either purchase a home or sell a home. And it's like, don't forget that you're dealing with somebody like a human, and they need help with something, and you're an expert, you've got licensed, and you're an expert in this field. Like, genuinely just go try to help people. And if you can keep that mentality on the same thing with agents. It's like, if you're just genuinely trying to help them and better their life, whether it's through production or, through financial literacy or relationships, like sometimes, we're basically counselors for everybody. That's not our team.
Yeah. Wear a lot of different hats for sure. A lot of different hats. Painters, counselors,
Yeah.
movers.
wall walkers. Yeah.
It's but I think if you have that mentality, like I'm a strong believer, if you put good out into the universe, good will come back. And I don't know how, and I don't know when, and I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but I'm like, if you do it, it's going to happen.
It works this way for
Yeah.
sure. I think we believe in that very
We
much.
totally are
100% agree on
behind
that.
Just go in with a helping mentality and help these people get out of a situation, get into a situation, and things will work out.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you help them achieve what they're trying to achieve and make sure that, which is hard sometimes because you're working in conjunction with a lot of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes their work reflects on you, even though you didn't have anything to do with it. Whether it's
100%.
an inspector, whether it's title company, appraiser, lender.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you're the last person that they're dealing with on that transaction, right?
100%.
So it's tough that way to manage that part.
And that's
But,
what I was gonna say. That's why I think it's so important to have some values and a premise around your culture. Like, what do you expect as a team leader? Like, I never tell an agent, if an agent wants to discount a commission or they need to take care of somebody for a client, like, I'm never going to say, oh, you can't do that. Like, no, if you feel good about it, I feel good about it. We're going to help out wherever we can, and never like limiting them. If it's something that I think is going to benefit the client, limiting them on. But there's a lot of, team leaders. It's like, you can't discount your commission. We're not going to approve that credit or, help out with this repair. It's like, and they put it all on the agent. And I think if you have good faith where it's like, hey, if an agent's willing to pull a credit, like, I'll take out of our team side too, and we'll match it. Like,
Right.
I think if you have that good mentality, keeping agents is probably like the biggest, as a team leader, like, you have to figure out how to keep agents. And because that's where, if you can train an agent, you usually lose money on an agent for the first 6 months or so, depending on if you have like lead sources that you're providing them and stuff. And so if you're turning agents every 12 months, like, you're only getting like 6 months of profitability from an agent. The goal is like, if you can turn agents every 3 to 4 years, then it becomes a lot more sustainable. And so like, everything that we've done with our team is figuring out, okay, how do you have a good culture? And then how do we retain top talent? And it comes a lot from like, you've got to have a big enough vision that they can feel like they can continue to grow within your world. Because as soon as they feel like they can't
That's when
grow within what you're doing, that's when they feel like they've got to go do something on their own. Because everybody, as humans, we want growth.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be stagnant. And so the minute we feel like we're stagnant, that's where you get that resistance and they feel like they need to do something. And so that's always pushed us to, we didn't necessarily want to have a team this big, but we've just kept increasing our vision of what we're doing and to make sure that we, if Devin wants to make a certain amount of money, or, we're going into the Boise market now, working on stuff to get a team set up in the Boise area.
Nice.
And again, it's like, there's a lot of things that we're doing with our other companies, but we have good people. And I think if we can create opportunities for those people to continue to grow with us, like, in the long run, it'll be worth it. So anyway, that's a big spiel of.
No, it's good. I like it. I actually want to talk about your other companies and everything else that you're doing. Well, I wanted to continue. I wanted to talk to you guys about, you got your team running, but I see that you got a lot of other things. And I know you've gone into long-term rentals.
Yeah.
I think you've done a little bit of Airbnb as well.
Yep.
And I know you're flipping houses, and I think you've taken that to the whole next level. So tell me a little bit about that, because I see that you got a lot of projects going on. So I'm very curious about that.
Yeah. So one thing, somebody looking at our business could be like, man, you guys are doing a lot of different things. One thing that I really want to point out is like, we don't do this on our own. Like, every business that I've gone into, I have a partner in it. Because when I first started thinking of like these little ancillary businesses around real estate that I wanted to be a part of, I was like, I don't have the time to go be the operator of all these.
I mean, they took a gamble.
Yeah.
You took a gamble when you were younger, and you put $3,500 worth of debt on your credit card to go get your real estate license and try to float things until you got going. So, I mean,
100%.
you like to take risks.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And honestly, like, that's, I think what separates, really good entrepreneurs from other entrepreneurs is just like their ability to manage risk. And it's because a lot of it's like perceived risk. As humans, like, we naturally go to like, what if this doesn't work out? But if you can have the mindset of like, what if this would work out? And what is the downside? And is that downside manageable? Like, what is the downside if we bought this property to flip? Oh, okay. Well, downside is, worst case scenario, if you run the worst case scenario, like, maybe we break even, or maybe we lose $10,000. Well, I'm going to be willing to take that risk almost all the time, because I'm like, well, for me, I would be okay losing that money. And so if I'm okay with the worst outcome, then why not try it and just take advantage of the potential upside that could happen? But a lot of people are so analytical, like, they want all the information to know that there's like no downside risk. And it's like, if you wait for that, the opportunity's gone.
The famous analysis paralysis. You're
100%.
overthinking it forever, and you're just never taking action.
Yeah, there's so many people you talk to about that want to get into real estate investing and stuff like that. And it's like, they've read all the books, they've listened to all the podcasts, and they haven't bought anything.
Can't
And
pull the trigger.
they can't pull the trigger. And it's like, well, I'm running all the numbers on this and stuff. It's like, dude, you got to be willing to just lose. You got to be willing to take a loss. Because if you are, like, you probably won't lose. But if you're willing to take the loss, at least you're going to go out and do it. And then you're going to be prepared and have the knowledge to do the next deal. Like, the quicker you can make the decision and learn whether or not it was the right decision, it's going to allow you to move on to the next decision. But so many people just never make the decision. So they stay there. And then they're never going to know if it was right or wrong. And then they're never going to take the next step or get the knowledge they need to take the next step and scale it. And so I think, like, one thing, if you want to be good in business, you want to get to that next level. It's like, you have to be willing to take risks and manage them. Like, never take too much of a risk that's going to put you out, but decide what kind of risk you're willing to take on, and then make quick decisions. Because, like, if you wait for all the information, I look at all the little things in our path. Like, we've had a wild ride over the last 8 years. A lot of it was like, we didn't have all the information, but I felt like the downside of making the decision was something I was willing to live with and try. And so we made quick decisions. It was like the quick decision to start HomeSmart with Elias. I mean, I had been licensed for like 7 months, and I had no business running a brokerage, and Elias had no business running a brokerage. So like, I'm like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, let's give it a shot. And the amount of lessons I learned over that 2 years of growing that with him, it's like, I mean, more than a 4-year education would have provided. I learned so many lessons. I saw so many files. We had a broker, but like, I was kind of like the operating person. And so agents would come to me when they had problems with contracts and all this stuff. And so I saw, as a brand new agent, hundreds of deals and situations. And I had to know the contracts inside and out, because I'm recruiting agents. Yeah. If they have questions, I need to know what the purchase and sale agreement is and the logistics of it. And so, like, we dissected the contracts. That's one thing we're still pretty, I don't want to say prideful on, is like, we know our contracts. It's actually scary how many agents don't know their contracts. We, like, as a seller, like, you can't terminate through an RE10. Most agents didn't know that. I've gotten, like, we had one back in like 2021, and the agent like sent us a termination on an RE10. We sent an RE10 to them. They countered back with a termination RE10. I'm like, you can't terminate on an RE10 with a seller. And she's like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what I'm doing. Yes, we can. I've done it before. And I'm like, okay. I mean, we can escalate this to the brokerage. Like, you can't do this. But it's scary, because like, she at some point did get away with that, because the agent on the other side
didn't know.
Didn't know. And so we never wanted to get taken advantage of. I think part of it too is like being young. We just didn't want to ever get taken advantage of. So we knew the contracts inside and out. But going from like HomeSmart to then starting the team, and then we've done some brokerage changes over that period. Like, we've just, like, when we joined Real was at like 3,500 agents across the country. So, I mean, way smaller than HomeSmart was, but I saw some potential upside there, and I'm like, let's make the jump. Now they're at 32,000 agents across the country, like, taking opportunities there that have changed how our business is run and stuff. And so, like, moving quick without all the information is usually when you get the most upside. Making quick decisions on flips that we buy. Hey,
your risk is higher, but so is your reward when things go well.
Correct. Yeah. Alex Ramosi, I don't know if you watch Alex Ramosi.
Yeah.
I freaking love. He's so good at explaining things, but he actually just came out with a video that explained that exact thing. It's like, your compensation is relative to the level of risk that you're taking. And so, like, the lowest level of risk is W-2 employees. Like, there is no risk. You're a W-2 employee.
You just got to show up.
If you show up, you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
That's the low risk. And so you get compensated accordingly for that risk. The next is like contract workers, like service businesses, where it's like, hey, pay as you go. So I look at like our construction company, that's kind of like that level 2, where, you know, most of the time we're building for somebody with a construction loan. So as we do work, we take draws and they pay us as we go. Yeah. That's the next level. Then the next level above that is if I do, I can't remember. It's like basically like if I do something, then I get paid. Level 4 is really, and that's where salespeople are, is I only get paid when an outcome is delivered.
Only in performance.
It's only in performance. But that's when you can that's when you can get the larger amount of pay.
Yeah.
Because it's not tied to your time. It's tied to a result.
Yeah, you have to deliver. If you don't deliver, you don't get paid.
And so the risk is on you, because you as an agent, you think about real estate, we can take on a listing and we're going to spend a few $1,000s marketing that listing. If it doesn't sell within our contracted time, we don't get anything.
And you don't recoup. Yeah, you don't recoup that money. No.
The only way you get paid is if you deliver the result. And so the more if you can find businesses that are paid that structure, that's where you're going to get the highest ROI because you're taking on more of the risk. And that's like, you look at insurance companies, like insurance companies make the best margins because it's like they're taking the risk.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, we're going to take all the risk to pay you if something bad happens. And it's a lot of that's like perceived risk because, I mean, they're running their numbers. They're really not taking the risk. And
It's all statistics.
It's all
It's all- yeah.
statistics. Alex made a good point in that video. He's like, if you think about insurance companies, it's like a reverse lottery. Like everybody has to pay in, and if something bad happens to you, you get the lottery ticket of, okay, we'll cover it.
It's a good way to look at it. That's
It's-
very different.
It's super interesting. But and then he like level 4 is like no matter what you do, you get paid, and he put that as like the government. It's like the government takes the risk of having to keep the border safe and everybody safe, and because it's such a human fear, like it's a fear we have, we're willing to just pay taxes. Like no matter what, no matter whether it's the president we like, politicians we like, we pay our taxes.
Yeah, no matter what. It's
matter what.
guaranteed.
It's guaranteed income from everybody, but they're taking the risk to like run the country and protect us. And we have the faith that they're going to protect us. And so we don't have a lot of risk in that. We just pay our taxes. So if you can look at like just realizing that, I think if you want to make more money, look at the level of risks that you're taking. There's probably a correlation of you're not taking enough risk to really make the amount of money that you want to make. You look at the wealthiest people in the world, they just took enormous risks. They were calculated risks,
Yeah.
but you look at Elon Musk. I mean, there's times where he's sleeping on the floor at Tesla and wasn't about to make payroll, like massive risks, and then makes his money from selling PayPal and reinvests all of that into the next business. And it's like, you don't have to take that level of risks, but the only way he gets there is taking that amount of risk. If he wouldn't have taken those risks, he wouldn't have been at the level that he's at. And so I would say like, yeah, I've got good friends that if you have this desire for stability and stuff, that's fine. But you can't be mad at the people that are making more money because they're willing to take more risks.
100%.
Don't
Yes.
hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
That's right.
No?
So-
And you see a lot of that out there, and it's like, well, you're just showing up. I shouldn't say you're just showing up, but you're committed to your job. You got your hours. These are your responsibilities. This is what's expected of you. And as long as you follow that through, you're going to get paid,
Yep.
right? When in entrepreneurship or as a real estate agent, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Yes, you will get paid, of course, as long as you follow the rules and as long as you're supposed to do. But if you don't get paid,
Yeah.
right? And not just that, but you have to perform and you have to deliver. You have to get your client or the transaction from point A to point B. Whether it's same thing, flipping a house, right? You got to take the risk
Yep.
and buy it for a certain price, knowing that you have to put so much money into it. And you're looking that the outcome is going to be hopefully here.
Yeah.
But the market could change.
Yep.
And so then your calculations are off and then you lose money or you break even.
Yep.
And so that's the hard thing.
The nice thing about us flipping, because I know you guys flip as well, we kind of have, again, when you're looking at like taking risks, but also being able to mitigate some of the risk. Us versus a standard flipper that's not a real estate agent.
They're front row seat.
They're taking a lot more risk because they're dependent on an agent
Yeah.
to give them an ARV, to give them an after repair value. Like, what do you think? And agents we know are over optimistic all the time.
Well,
if you
you're
buy
gonna
this,
get me going on ARV with wholesalers, man. I just
yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna be able to sell this for $325, $350. I'm like, there's no way in this world. Like,
Yeah.
the reason we can flip at a high level and it's not as risky, or like I don't feel like we're taking on as much risk, is because I really know our numbers. Like, this is what we do every single day. We run a team that sells hundreds of transactions. We've got a buyer pool. Like, a lot of the flips that we sell, like we sell them to just buyers that are working with agents on our team.
Because they're looking for that product.
Yeah.
You already have it pre-sold. He's like, this one's going to go to this person.
100%.
It'll be great for them.
So it's a lot less risk for us to do it if we didn't have all the other things going on, then, and we weren't in real estate full time. Yeah. Having the amount of flips that we have going on would feel like a lot of risk for somebody. But
How many do you got going on right now?
right now we have 11 projects under construction right now.
That's impressive.
Some of those are going to be buy and holds. So we have like a triplex and a duplex that we're remodeling, and then a single family that they're in that 11 that we're remodeling, but we're going to be holding those as long term. And then the rest are going to be hitting the market. For
So let me take that back because before we got interrupted by our dogs.
Yeah.
We had to take a break. We were talking about the businesses and all the different things that you're doing. So I wanted to just kind of go back into that really quick. And you were telling me that, yes, you have a lot of different business ventures that you're doing, but you're not doing those alone. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Love to hear
So
it.
we always try to find like an operator. So, right now we have our team. We have a property management company, a construction company, and then our flipping kind of like cash offer company. Each one of those companies, like I'm not doing the day-to-day stuff in any of those companies. So like for our real estate team, we have Devin now, who's like our sales manager. He really deals with a lot of the day-to-day of the real estate team. Like I don't even know how many agents we have, or I don't know how many pending transactions we have. Cause he deals with that. And then I have a partner that's, he kind of runs like this. He's a CFO of kind of everything that we do. So he manages the books. One thing I've realized is there's certain things I'm good at and there's certain things I'm not good at. I'm not the tech person. So when we do like our podcast and stuff, like I could try to go learn how to edit and do all this stuff, or I could just give it to somebody that knows how to do it and just focus on going to do the things that I am good at that bring me money.
So a lot more delegating.
Yeah. That's probably one thing I'm too good at is just finding somebody delegating off the workload. Because I know that, hey, I'm not good at that. Like for like our finance, our buddy that does all the finances for that. It's like, I understand finances. Like I took accounting classes in college. I'm fairly well, like I understand that stuff, but I also just don't want to spend the time to do it. I don't enjoy that. So for me to like sit down, it's like painful for me to sit down and want to go through and like put together our P&L and do all that stuff. He loves it. So I'm like, dude, you focus on that stuff. I'll go get more business and generate more revenue for the companies. Like that's what I want to do. And so like our property management company, we have an agent on our team, Braden, who really kind of runs the day-to-day of that. Our construction company, my buddy that runs our books, he is a partner in that. And then we have a GC that's a partner that he deals with the actual building and construction and everything. And then we've got a junior under him. And then our flipping company, I have a partner, Rex, and he does like, he's kind of out really boots on the ground, talking to all the sellers, getting the deals under contract, everything like that. Our role in that is like, we usually, like starting a business, there's kind of like three things that it needs. You can either invest your time, your capital, or your influence. And so when I look at opportunities, I don't really want to invest a lot of my time. So some of it I will invest my time. Like for our flipping company, it's like I make sure we always have capital lined up, structure all the promissory notes, deeds, line everything like that up. We're always running ARV, so we know what we're going to sell it at. And then we're always doing the finishes. So we're always choosing what finishes are going to go into it. But then we brought my dad in and he's managing all the projects now. So Rex was doing both at first, but with the amount that we have, it's like, I mean, just project management in itself is a full-time job. And so for Rex to go get more deal flow, I was like, hey, we just need to take you out of the project management side. Let's bring on somebody else and you just focus on going to get more deals. And so realizing that like you only have so much time in a day. And so if you want to do all these things, you need to figure out like what you're good at and what you enjoy doing and just be consistent at that. And hopefully it's something that actually like brings in revenue and outsource everything else. Like, yeah, that's one thing we look at is like, we try to outsource. We have a nanny. We have a house cleaner. I don't mow my own lawn. Like this, it sounds bad and people are like, oh, you guys are bougie. And I'm like, no, I know what my time is worth. And if I do all these things, it's less time that I can spend on these other things where mowing my lawn is $45.
Yeah.
That's an hour. If I spend an hour doing something else,
your dollar per hour cost is so much higher.
So much higher.
It's like, yeah, you're wasting time.
And so, but people have a really hard time letting that stuff go. But I don't. Like,
That's good.
anything we can outsource, like I want to
can
outsource
appreciate that. I mean, she gets on me about that because I'm like, I could probably do this, and like,
I'm like,
no,
no.
just let's go, move on. Like,
More time efficient.
100%. And if I
not
have
worth it.
if I have spare time, like we have kids, I'd rather, instead of going home and mowing the lawn, I want to go home and play with my daughter.
Totally.
Do something with them. Same thing, like we go back and forth sometimes on like, we have a cleaner that comes, once a week or once every other week. And I was like, well, could we have her come like, why don't we just have her come like a few times a week? Hey, could we ever like do the dishes? Like, She's like,
He
we've got.
wants to have a house, but he doesn't want any of the work involved
Yeah.
with having
Right.
a house.
I'm just always looking at like, well, how can I get more time back? And there's stuff like she's very like, we've got it. You know, we're people. We have a family. Like, yeah, we're gonna have to do laundry some days. I'm like, God, do we have to? So we use Zach's service too.
I was just gonna say, have a friend who's got a company.
We do that.
does
We do that for all
sometimes.
of like our clothes, and then we wash all the kids' clothes because she's really particular on how she wants those washed and stuff. But yeah, I'm like all for partnerships where, and I also like doing business with people. Like doing business alone is just boring. Like we always have each other when we've been doing our businesses, but it's so much funner to bring in these other people that we have as partners and one, provide opportunity for them and a pathway for them to grow. And then also like, it's just fun to have more people around, like friends. And I'm like, we could be super successful, but it'd be really cool if we could be super successful with a group of friends that we can all go do things together.
Bring the people alone so you
Yeah.
all share that success.
We can all share
Yeah.
the success, and it's just more fun. And so that's
love it.
like, yeah. Anyway, I don't know if that kind of answers your question, but
No, it does. It kind of gives me an insight on something that I was very curious about because I'm like, you got a lot going on. I'm like, okay, I have to ask Anthony. I'm like, how do you handling all this stuff?
Right.
I see the flips. I see the new construction in Teton Valley, and I see the team, and I'm like, wait a minute, how's he doing all this stuff? Which is, it's great. I mean, props to you guys.
and it's being it's being willing to not have to have the whole piece of the pie.
Yeah.
So many people get caught up in like, oh, I want if I'm going to do this, I want all of the money from it. I'm very much of like, again, create opportunities, create other people, and it's like if each of these businesses can cash flow us, like we can take some kind of salary or cash flow from the businesses. Cool. That's like our property management. It's not a ton of cash flow right now. We've got like 100 properties, but it's like a trickle feed. And I look at, hey, I mean, that's like owning another rental property or two. Just, I don't actually spend a lot of time in the property management company and it still spits off some cash flow for us each month. Awesome. I look at everything that we're doing. Our goal is to have time freedom. So we want to eventually be able to, you know, travel whenever we want to travel and do whatever we want to do and work and focus on the things that we want to work on. And the only way to do that is to have like a consistent stream of income that's coming in, whether that's from rental properties or businesses. I look at it as assets. You need assets that pay you. A business is an asset. A real estate property is an asset. Stocks could be assets. So like what assets can we buy or acquire? They're going to give us cash flow so that we can eventually have what we need coming in each month to kind of have the freedom to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Like this has kind of been the first year we've really stepped back on production, like really stepped back. We've been fighting it for a while, but like we didn't close a single deal. I don't think this year till just this last week, closed our first one. And like, but I want it that way because I'd kind of gotten burnt out on working with buyers and sellers. We had some pretty hard clients. She got burnt out like 2 years ago when we had a really, really hard client. She's kind of taken a step back from there, but I've been fighting it because it's easy money. I don't want to say it's not easy being a real estate agent.
It's simple. It's not easy.
It's simple, and we just know how to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
So we put in the time and the hours to know how to do it well. So it's really hard to let that thing go.
Yeah.
And I have a business coach, and I kept bringing that up because he's like, well, he's really big on like designing the life that you want. And he could tell that I didn't really want to be in production, but it's such a big source of our income that he's like,
What's that?
it's such a big source of our income that he knew that I was struggling to let it go. And he's like, well, do you believe that if you put more time and energy into like your flipping company, that you could replace that income? And I'm like, maybe, but it's scary. Mm-hmm. And last year we kind of made the big push, like, okay, I'm going to focus more on that. And now we look at where we're at. I think the amount of properties that we have this year, 11 projects, we've basically bought a home a week, essentially the first 8 weeks of this year.
Wow.
And it's like, where could if we can get to 50 properties a year, that's a lot more. That's the things that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I'm not on somebody else's schedule as like a real estate agent. That was driving me nuts. And more so now that we have a family. Like when we were just us, we didn't care about taking calls at 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We didn't care about going out to show houses whenever,
Yeah.
as a real estate agent, you're on the client's timeline. But now it's like, now that we have kids, when I go home, I try to go home at like 5, we have dinner and I try not to really answer my phone from like 5 till 8 or 8:30 when we have all the kids in bed. And so, but that's really hard to do if you're trying to sell 50 homes a year. It's like impossible.
You miss that one call,
you
and
can't.
it can cost you a lot. Yeah.
And so, like, really focusing these last few years on designing the life that we want, and then building the businesses in a way that allow us to live that life. And so, and she's a key. I mean, I can say I want to do all these things, but none of it would function or actually work without her coming in and building the systems and the processes within everything that we have to make it function.
So you balance each other out, right? You kind of carry each other, and you pick up where your weaknesses are and vice versa, right? So, and now with the kids on the picture, that changes even more, right?
Yeah.
Because they require a lot more attention and a lot more time of you.
For sure.
So, and that's been I mean, we've still been going back and forth even recently and like trying to figure out that balance that we want.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Bri, she likes to work. We have a nanny, but, you know, recently too, she's been like, I want to spend a little bit more time at home. And it's like, cool. We're in a position where like you totally can. Like, you don't have to be in the office and doing stuff. And it's a transition that we're still trying to figure out.
It's a process.
Yeah.
You're working on it every day, and until you kind of fine tune it to exactly what you want, right?
Yeah.
And so,
And we're in the thick of it. Three girls, you know, basically 3.5 and under.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Things are.
we are in the thick of it, but it's been
busy.
so fun. It's been so fun. And I just get excited because, man, I think about what we've been able to do in the last few years. And if we're smart, you know, every few years you should be doubling your net worth. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's going to be inevitable that I can see that where we're going to get to, and all these little businesses that we've built. Like, I think we're going to be able to get there even faster.
you can see the trajectory of
Yeah.
where it's going.
And I think
You're
that's
mapping it out. That's
yeah.
good.
And I think you should, like, when you're starting businesses, like for the first few years of running a business, I didn't think about where we were going. I was just head down and just grinding. And now the last few years, like picking a head up and being like, hey, is this the right vehicle that we want to be in? Because I was grinding to build this real estate team. And not that I love our real estate team. Is it really what I wanted to do long term? Probably not. But now we've got to a stage where it's stable and we don't have to spend a lot of time in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, we can just let that thing run. But I could have just focused on that and just kept my head down and just been like, all right, I'm going to build this big team and I'm going to do this and this. And then got it to a point where it's like, dude, I just wasted the last 5 years climbing a ladder that I didn't really want to climb. And I think a lot of people don't ever take the time to figure out, is this actually really what I want to be doing? Or am I just doing it because I started it? I have a little bit of success in it.
I'm in it.
And I'm just in it, taking a step away and being like, hey, is being a real estate agent for the next 20 years really what I want to do? Probably not. And so, like, how do I get out of that without burning it all down? How do I like build it so that I can kind of step out and design the life that ultimately, like, we want to be living down the road? So similar to you guys, you know, we want to be somewhere warm, at least
some point.
half the year at some point. It's so trying to figure out how to make that happen. And yeah, so.
Well, I want to ask you first to come back, because I feel like 1 hour doesn't give us an adjusted to all the things that I want to talk to you. So I would love for you guys to come back again. We have to kind of keep it to a time limit, but so this is my invitation, open. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yes.
We'd love
Come
to.
back, because we'd love to talk quite a few more things. But just thank you for spending the time with us. Really, it means a lot. I know you guys are pretty busy, both of you. So the fact that you choose 1 hour of your day, or almost 2 now, to come and sit down with us, we really appreciate it. So
Absolutely.
we'll do this again.
Thank
okay?
you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks a
Appreciate
lot.
it.